Hello, this is George Kaiho of Jettison, Texas. Y'all. uh, Today is May the 2nd. May the 2nd is a very special day. You know why it's special? May the 2nd is my mother's birthday. It's true. Happy birthday. May the 2nd, first weekend of May, is also a very special weekend. It's the Kentucky Derby. So 2 days event. Very, very special. Like most of you should know, it is the world's largest, most pristine horse racing competition. And it's associated with this one cocktail, that's the julep. So Kentucky Derby, mint julep. Associated. I'm gonna talk about it at the end. So today I'm gonna talk about julep, and I'm a dork, so I'm gonna talk about all the histories and all that kind of stuff. I'll try my best to make it short, and then I would like to focus more on the making of the cocktail. What can you do to make a good mint julep? So I'll try to spend more time on that today. Okay, so let's jump in. Origin, it says 900. Yeah, it was a long time ago, more than 1,000 years, in Persia. So there. On my other video, there's a cocktail history, talks about the alchemists in the Islamic world. It's related to that. So julep was born in Persia from an alchemist, and the original julep was a water and violet flower, like soaked into the water, and then added sugar, and then you drink it. So it was considered medicine. You get medicinal quality from the violet, and you take it. So that's how it started. And the violet flower eventually became mint. And mint, of course, has medicinal quality to it, like menthol. It makes you like, smells so refreshing. It smells like Christmas. If you, so you know, people that lack on sense of smell, they can smell either so refreshing, or they can smell, it smells like Christmas. There's like A or B, refreshing or Christmas. This is the refreshing side. This is the A portion of the smell. And then fast forward history, colonial time. The North America, the continent, there were multiple countries. Major are like England, Britain, and France, and Spain, other countries. They had colonies in today's United States. They brought their own culture with them. Julep was one of them, and mint was already popular. So they drink it as a medicine. That you get the medicinal quality from the mint. Rum was the base liquor because in all the New World, including North America, they were making rum because they were making sugarcane, and there'll be a different video for that, like explaining the rum, like how it came in being. It's very, I love that story. It's good. But they were using whatever that they had on hand, which is rum, and adding mint and water and like sweetener to make it easy to drink. it was more considered medicine in the 16th century or 17th century. Like a doctor will like prescribe julep for you. Like, oh, depending on your symptoms, like you should drink more julep. You should drink more julep. Like, oh yes, doctor, I'll drink more julep. So like rum, so it's like basically whatever got popular originally was rum, mint, water, sugar. That's pretty much a mojito without the lime, right? So mojito, it goes back that far. So you're just missing one thing. And then by the time the Revolution War era, the independence time, it really became like an excuse to drink because yes, like mints are nice. It's good. It's medicine. They're cool. Mints are cool and all, but it doesn't have that. It doesn't like fix that much. It's you put mint, alcohol, sugar, chug it. Yeah, it's like a refreshing way to drink alcohol. Of course, tastes good. So over time, it really became more like a synonym for like making excuses that you're drinking, like daytime. Hey, what are you drinking? Like what is that? Are you drinking? Like you're getting drunk? Like no, it's medicine. It's medicine. It's good for you. It's good and good for you. It's medicine. Medicine. Kind of thing. So a lot of the like novels or documents, basically, it becomes more of a keyword or metaphor, right? That it's like medicine kind of thing. Like it's like you're finding an excuse to drink more alcohol. And right about here, making cocktails, back then it was more of a punch, like a larger format. But a thing called cocktail can being is another. The detail is explained on my other video about cocktail history. But at that time, juleps were mainly made from cognac or brandy. That was the main ingredient. If people thought about julep back then, it's the one with the brandy and then mint and sugar. So julep equaled to brandy or cognac back then. And then the golden age, as explained on another video, that's when like pretty much all the classics, what's called classic cocktails, are made. This is 50 years, 1860s all the way to 1910s. Of course, it joined one of the classics. It's been around for like forever, and it's a really simple way to drink. So of course, it joined the classics, but as a brandy / cognac cocktail, because whiskey wasn't really a thing yet. Like American whiskey, they were around, but they were not very high quality yet. And of course, cities where cocktail kind of began, like New York City, it was very easy for like them to get cognacs or brandy because they're like import export, like come all the time. So like cognac or brandy was a very common ingredient used in a lot of cocktails. So it joined the classic as a cognac / brandy cocktail. But at the same time, probably because of this old world, new world, transportation became more popular. There's this thing called phylloxera. It's a tiny bug that loves grape trees. So ended up in Europe right about the same time, like right about when, like this time, 1860s to early 1900s, and it spread all over Europe, and they ate all the grapes. They ate all the grapes, everything. Like 90 something percent. I don't know the exact percentage, but like almost all the wine, like vines of Europe making, like growing grapes to make wine, were destroyed. This is a major event. And just side note, but it was resolved eventually, but there's a great amount of contribution done by a person in Texas that came up with the method how to resolve this issue. So you're welcome. Yeah, wine drinkers, Texan, half Texan, you're welcome. So what does this mean? Like, okay, that's a cool phenomena, but what happens to julep? So julep, originally the ingredient was cognac or brandy, but it became scarce. Like you're working in New York or your other cities, and you've been making juleps with brandy or cognac, and all of a sudden you cannot get them because if you don't have grapes, you cannot make wine. You cannot make cognac or brandy. So it became like not available. You really couldn't get it anymore. So you had to, like, you didn't have a choice but to switch to a different base, and they switched to whiskey, American whiskey, which was still okay. Well, it wasn't like the best quality, but it was like okay. It was like up and coming. And same exact story happened to a lot of the classic cocktails. Really famous one is Sazerac, and actually Old Fashioned is the same thing. Old Fashioned might date back to rum, but like pretty much the same thing. Like it was originally a cognac or brandy based cocktail, and then it became not available, so they had to switch the base to whiskey. And then today they still use, we still use whiskey as a base. It was like recognized as a whiskey cocktail today. So julep was one of the cases. And then, of course, the Kentucky Derby, big event. Kentucky, very famous place to raise horses. Also, the bourbon became more and more popular and more high quality. So bourbons from Kentucky. I mean, bourbon today, the category bourbon, you don't have to make it in Kentucky. You can make it in the United States, but like it originated in Kentucky, and Derby is a big thing in Kentucky. So it's quite easy to guess that let's at a Kentucky event, let's use a local whiskey and then pass it on and like make it into like a Kentucky thing. And so that was decided. It was already popular. They were already making this, and then it was decided on 1938 to where let's make mint julep the official Kentucky Derby drink. And then so it's like we secure the connection tie. So that's the history of it. Today they say in 2 days of the Kentucky Derby they sell 120,000 like mint juleps people drink. So that's 60,000 a day. That's a lot. That's a lot. Wow. So today for my mother's birthday. I'm gonna add one more to that 60,000 juleps. All right, getting to the making of mint juleps. I'm gonna talk mainly about how to pick the ingredients, and then how to handle the mint, and then the making of it. So first of all, the ingredient. The most important is, of course, the whiskey, the base, because this is a very simple drink. It only has like whiskey, mint, sugar, and water or ice. So the base pretty much decides all the flavor. I usually pick Old Granddad Bonded. The Old Granddad Bonded. That's how I usually say. This is so bonded bourbon. Bourbon, you gotta use 51% or more corn, but the 49% you can do whatever. You can put, well, you can't do whatever, but you can put other grains. This is a high rye bill. High rye bill will typically make it drier taste, somewhat bready, but not as bready as like a rye whiskey. Drier, it's a kind of a good word to put. So high rye mash bill, bonded bourbon. I use bonded bourbon. Bonded, there's a history of bonded whiskey or bonded spirits in general. I won't go into detail because it takes a while to explain. Today that the rule is kind of gone with FDA and all. Today, if you see bonded, then it means that it's 100 proof, 50% alcohol for today. Like, so if you see bonded, then it's bonded. Okay, that means it's 100 proof. So that is okay. Just understand that is okay. So I'm using the Old Granddad. The reason I like to use bonded whiskey for juleps is because usually you put a lot of ice in it, so and then it's the crushed ice, like table ice, like these ice, melts faster. So if you use like a regular, like 80 proof, 40% whiskey, basically it waters down the cocktail very fast. And you don't want watered down stuff. So I want the flavor to stay as long as possible. So that's why I pick a relatively stronger alcohol within my price range for, because you gotta make money. So I can stretch the flavor as much as possible. You can of course use stronger whiskey in that at home if you have like you can go make like a Booker's or something that's 134 proof, usually like 130 something ish, so that's like 60 something percent alcohol. You can use that kind of stuff too. So just key is I like using higher alcohol content bourbon in order to stretch the flavor longer, like hold the dilution from the water. Next, sugar. I must say, Julep is not actually my favorite cocktail. It's one of my not so favorite cocktail for classics. The reason is because it lacks balance, in my opinion. If you have sweetness, you should have sourness to support. But traditional julep does not have citrus, and it's like that's kind of a rule in a sense that you're not supposed to put it in. So I'm gonna follow the original idea. So I like to just add a little bit of sugar, like that's why I have like just a little amount. If you do like, so this is a cane sugar, equal parts with water. So like one 1-in-1, equal parts sugar and water. So basically it's a simple syrup, and I'll explain the recipe later, but I'm just gonna add like a little bit. If you do want your cocktail sweeter, I recommend do 2-to-1. The 2 part sugar, 1 part water, and you heat it up and make it dissolve. That way the amount of the liquid you can cut down, but you can make it sweeter, because I really don't want the drink to be watered down. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So that's that. The third is the mint. I had it. Sorry. Mint. Basically, there are 2 major types. This is spearmint, and I found peppermint, so I brought it. This is peppermint. Peppermint's more like smooth, and it has a little bit more sharper menthol kind of quality to it. It really tastes like those like mint candies. Spearmint is a little bit more mild, more round in a sense. I like to use peppermint for mojitos because I like to use lighter style rum, and then sugar, lime, and then lime has sharper acid, right? So a sharper menthol like matches the sharpness of the base liquor. Was like white rum, sharper, more lean, and then citrus. So that's why I like to use peppermint for mojito. For juleps, I think spearmint is good because it's more mild, more rounder in a sense, and you're not using citrus, so you kind of want to cover overall with the minty quality. That's that. And then last part is the ice. So you're highly recommended to use crushed ice. I have a machine at work, so that's easy. If you don't have a machine, I'll show you. You get a clean cloth, and then you put whatever ice you have in here, wrap it, and then you get a schmallet or equivalent, and then smash it like that. You get crushed ice. Pretty easy, and this can be anything. So you can really like make it at home too. This is a cocktail like Kingdom professional equipment. They sell like bags too. I think bags are not necessary because if you keep doing it, you get kind of excited. Like, hey, yeah, smack. Like you get kind of excited, and you usually overdo it, and it ends up you're like gonna destroy your bag. It happens. So it's like this is kind of like not disposable, but this that you change it. So these kind of like clean rag is okay. All right, so that's the ice. That's all the components. Lastly, julep. Traditionally, you use this julep mug. My bar, we really don't sell a lot of juleps. Like my previous shop sold like good amount, but this bar, not many people orders it, so I don't have them. You pretty much only use it for juleps. You can do like Quinn Park Swizzle or something, but pretty much Quinn Park, you still want a kind of bigger glass. So you pretty much only use julep mugs for juleps, so I don't have it. So let me use like a larger rocks glass. And because of that, let me go ahead and pre-chill. I'm gonna explain about mint because of course whiskey is the major component of making juleps. It pretty much defines the flavor, but this is just pick a good one, and that's it. Mint, there's a little bit of tip to handle them. Like normal, like making a mojito or whatnot, you pretty much you use only the leaves. You don't use the stem. So you de-stem it first. And there are a lot of ways to make it. The most common way is to use a muddler like this, and then you put the ingredients, you muddle, and then you put everything together. I don't like to use that method because no matter how like soft or hard you do, it feels like you just get the bitterness out of the mint, and it's unpleasant. So in like mojitos or Southside, any like mint cocktail, I usually never muddle the mint. I just like rip them. I usually just like, I'm gonna show you later, but I usually just like smack it, release the aroma, and then just rip them up. So manually kind of taking them apart rather than using the device to like smash it. So let me get ready for the stuff. And mints. This is really good. Looks like really good quality, right? When I got it, it was a little bit more like tired. I'm gonna explain a really good way to make it look like this. So it's called cold shock method. Basically, you get a bunch of mint, and you get like a bunch, and then you have a ice water, very cold water, and then you soak it down like upside down. So the leaves in the base of the stem is up. You soak it like this in ice water, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. 5 minutes is enough. And then after you soak it, you take it out, kind of get rid of the water, and then you cut. It doesn't matter how long. Like you cut the stem a little bit, like wherever you want, and then you get like a warm water. Like it doesn't have to be boiling or anything. Just like, whatever, you turn on the hot water on the sink, wherever it's warm. Get that, and then put it. This basically recirculates the water that's in the mint. So mint is kind of, it makes it cold, like cold. It like shrinks, and then you cut the stem. The stem is basically it's like a pipe, right? It sucks all the stuff. So you cut it and make it fresh, and then you soak it in hot water, warm hot water. Warmer water, it's easy to soak it up. Like for example, like alcohol or like caffeine. If it's warmer, it goes through your body faster. Same thing. It absorbs it faster. So like shrink, and then like open up. Shrink, open up. If you got a mint and it's already like this, the good quality, then you don't need to do that because it's already good. In that case, you can just put ice water, and then put it in like cold water. It's like backwards of what we did. Like that keeps it, so that it shuts it down here. So if you have already good quality, then cold. If it's like kind of getting tired, if it's old, then it's old, but it's like kind of not have like a firm feel, then you do the cold shock. It'll come back. Right, so that's the mint. And then going back, I don't like the muddle method. I think it makes it too grassy in a sense. So I like to use a lot and just rip it, but don't try to like mess around with it too much. All right, so we got the whiskey, sugar, mint, and then ice, and it looks like the glass has been chilled. All right, I'm gonna toss it first, and then we gotta build a cocktail. All right, starting with the mint. So you really get like a handful. The glass is kind of small, so it's probably not. I may not use the whole thing, but you gotta slap it first to release the aroma. Whoa! Release the aroma. Huh. And then I'm gonna rip it with my hand, make it smaller, and also it's destroying the fiber, and really kind of, this is same reaction, same method as muddling, but you're not like trying to smash and grind it. You're not trying to grind it, you're just ripping it apart. Right, it's good. Up. This was clean, but it's not clean anymore. Right, whiskey and mint julep is really simple cocktail. It's really about the whiskey and the mint. So let's do 2.5 ounces. Let's do a really good amount of whiskey. 50%, 2.5 ounces. Gonna get you pretty drunk pretty fast. Sweetener, it's necessary for julep, but I don't want to drink it too sweet, so let's do just 1/4 ounce. Yeah, just a little bit. You need it, but spray it just a little bit. All right, lightly stir, mix, and then you start adding the ice. Oh, make sure no water. Oh, this is called a julep strainer. Mixologist loves julep strainers. Use a julep strainer. I don't know why. How to use a julep strainer properly, I'll show you later. But people like to do it when they do stir cocktail. They put ice and then they strain it like that. I think it looks cool. I use this. It's easy. Well, actually, in fact, for stir cocktail, I don't use strainer. I just use my spoon, and then just don't mess up. It's a way to be successful. All right, sorry, talking too much. So I'm just gonna use my bar spoon to kind of swizzle it. Kind of use it like a swizzle stick. I don't own a swizzle stick because I don't think I need. But I try to be like as minimum as possible. I don't want to use different tools for different things because this will just do the thing. Just trying to just mix it. So I'm kind of swizzling with my spoon, make a little bit of mist, and then I don't want the mint to come out on the surface, so I just kind of push it back in. And with the ice being involved, it's gonna, like earlier I had ice to like here. It'll lower the ice. It's perfectly planned. I meant to do this. I meant to do this. All right, it's gonna push it back in. So you want the mint at the bottom, and then ice, and then garnish on top. You know, it's when you want to kind of set it up. All right, it's ready. So I'm gonna add more ice on top of this, and then start thinking about garnishing, finishing up the cocktail. So I'll loosely add my straw here. Let's cut it. In a cocktail that has pebble ice or like mint, and usually those are kind of associated, I use 2 straws. A lot of people, especially my colleagues, give me thing about like, you George, you're trying to kill turtles, turtle killers. this is made from agave, so it's biodegradable. This is okay. But the reason, the actual reason I use 2 is because if you use a pebble ice, crushed ice cocktail, or whatever that has like things in it, if you just use 1, it'll get stuck eventually, and then you're like, oh. So that's like uncomfortable experience for customer. So if you use 2, it won't really happen. Like you can avoid things getting stuck in your straw. You cannot use a straw to drink. So that's the reason. I do like turtle. That's why I use biodegradable. Kind of add, you want to have a nice mound, so you can kind of pile it up later. But I'm gonna finish the garnish first. Get a good amount of mint. Stick it in here. Looks good. All right. And look at the mounts. It'll drop, so you can kind of like this. I'm just gonna drink it myself, so it's okay. So you can kind of make like a format. You can use other tools like that, or spoon. All right, so it looks pretty good. I'm done with it. So basically the cocktail is done here. From here, you can add like bitters on top if you want. That's totally traditional and fun. I do powdered sugar for decoration. It really makes the mint like pop and look nice, and it's very easy to do. All right, so I'm done. Yeah, it was good. This is a classic mint julep using old granddad. All right, let me try this. Make sure it tastes good. It's good. It's pretty strong because it's pretty much all whiskey, and so you get the whiskey flavor that's really firm, and then those are supported by gentle sweetness, and then the refreshing, like menthol kind of refreshingness. It smells so refreshing, mint. And it's simple, of course. Yeah, this is it. But it's just simply good. Like in Texas, it's beginning of May, so it's kind of like the perfect season right now to be outside. Texas has about 2 weeks of spring and 2 weeks of fall. Right now is one of those like within that 2 weeks, and then after that it's gonna get too hot. So it's a very timely, perfectly nice outdoor refreshing cocktail. Yes, I made it. All right, so I'll conclude the video here, and it's pretty dangerous. It's very chuggable. But I know if I chug it, I'll get drunk real fast because this is 2.5 ounces of 100 proof bourbon. So drink responsibly. Cheers.